Hell yeah. Okay. Okay. So these three files right here, if you look at attachments, are the three videos I've recorded about 15 minutes ago. And I'm going to post them to a paid members only section of YouTube, or whatever this is. Okay. I love Mac Miller, but I can't have that in my ear right now. Okay. So, once these are fully uploaded, this is a 15-second, actually I'm going to remove that, a 35-minute and a 25-minute video, each adding up to an hour. I'm going to upload them to a paid members only section of my Patreon page, paid members only, and then I'm going to release it on Christmas Eve. And I don't know, maybe I'll do that for all of them. Maybe I'll go one day at a time. Maybe we'll do this one, then Christmas, then go one day, one day, one day. I don't know how many videos I'm gonna make. I mean, it might be a good way to just content bomb, you know? That might be the way to do it. Who knows? Or a good way to install engagement, I suppose. That's gonna take a long time, so let's just ignore it. Let's just ignore it and get back into the groove of things. So I've introduced these foundational pieces, the first class of pieces. Let's talk about what the class attribute armory means, okay? Let's discuss that concept. So I will do that by that's not where it'll be. It'll be here. I don't know if I want to do all that. This is a good example. Okay, let's just use this as an example. This is theoretic piece movement. This is for the nurse. That's actually the nurse's pattern. I do have movement patterns for all 16 of those pieces, by the way. And I've tried to design things in a way where repeated patterns sort of make things feel fluid and easy. Despite how much it is. Leave me alone. So, okay. What are we talking about? We are talking about the armory trait. Okay, so each of these pieces is going to have different movement patterns, depending on which one you have. So, for instance, I think I've mapped out a couple of these where I've done it, God forbid I know, where I stored them. I really only have the one. Okay. Here we go. Kinas. So this is the movement pattern of Kinas. Boom, 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 boom. This pattern doesn't even belong to one of the first classes, but this one does. This is the movement pattern of this much discussed Yera rune. So, and if you can't tell, the shapes of runes have been incredibly helpful in making these concepts come to life for me. They are a primary source of pattern recognition I've utilized in the contemplation of this. So Yera goes like that and like that. So you do that in every direction. Boom, boom. You see that? So bam, 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 bam. Do that in every direction. This is the potential movement pattern you can have for the boot. That is the boot's sphere of influence. Because Yera, that rune, is also the symbol of the currency for this associated piece and suit and feeling and color and value, and all of it breaks down to that. Let's, since we are so heavily invested in this rune at this point, pay it the respect it deserves. Yeah, the rune. Thank you very much. The harvest and the passage of time, okay? Which is actually very fitting, because that is precisely what I wish to discuss in this video. So, a little while back, I coded something that I need to find. This is like an I Spy of memory. This thing is a jungle, and I need to remember where I buried some gold. How do you like all of my terrible fucking artwork? Isn't that fucking horrendous? So horrendously ugly. This is all the tarot cards. So let's do one of these. Let's do a hand. Let's totally change course. Now this is locked into all traditional tarot cards. So that's the Emperor, the World, the King of Wands, the Knight of Swords, Temperance, and the Phoenix, which is my translation of the page. The page was boring as fuck and didn't have any symbolic meaning to it. It was like a blank card that I've made it the Phoenix. And the Phoenix rises. Remember that, okay? So, okay, let's just explore this. Let's explore this. Let's take a picture of this. And there's absolutely no reason for me to... Well, actually, no. What I can do is I can, let's just fall onto the foundation that the game is built on. Things that I didn't make. Starting with the Knight of Swords, right? I have that one in there, right? That's one of them? That's not it. It's a screen cap. I did a screen capture. Correct. by the way, this is a video I will upload to YouTube. So, yeah, I will be uploading this one to YouTube. I might go 1 for 1, or I don't know. I don't know what kind of ratio I'm gonna do on that. We'll find out. Yep, the Knight of Swords was one of them, but it was the third one. I'm just gonna save it, and let's. Okay. I actually like having all of these available. Okay. Yep, so let's remember this one. It is the Phoenix of Wands, Temperance, which, if you notice, has 4x4 as its value. I will dig into that at some point. Then you have the Knight of Swords. Now, this is an important concept, which is how the face cards function. I'm sure you're very curious about what the different symbols mean. I don't know how intuitive they are. I hope they are decently intuitive. And a couple of them are actually wrong. Yeah, a couple of them are wrong. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're perfectly right. Yep. Yep. Yep, because, yes. Okay, I confused myself, and I can tell you how I confused myself. So, earlier today, what I was doing was, rather than making videos, I was preparing videos. And one of the things I did in preparation of making this video was, and I will actually prove this right now. It is 10:27 p.m. at 11/26/2024. So let's take a look at not this. Yes, this. Yes, exactly this. Look at this. I pulled this from The Magician. And I was going to be adding this to my document, my presentation, to talk about the symbol, the upside down, I don't know how to say it. It's spelled ALGIZ, which just isn't natural to me. I don't have a Norwegian dialect. I'm, far enough removed from it that I just, ALGIZ is never going to come out of my mouth properly until I'm taught how to say it right. So it's upside down. So upside down is different than right side up. And I'll explain that too. I will explain what those symbols mean. Oh, and I brought that up. I do just want to quickly, November 26th, today, 2024, 7:58 p.m., approximately 3 hours ago, just less, 2.5 hours ago, I made these. So, just, reverting to the importance of these symbols here, the upside down wand and the upwards wand. So this wand indicates that this card is of the suit wands, okay? And this one is an indication that it is a phoenix, and this is an indication of power, of its strength within the hierarchy of court cards. And that is necessary to include all three of these elements because they are different in different decks. This deck right now is just the traditional tarot cards. So this is going to give you that foundational level of interplay between the cards, okay? The upside down Algis symbol is only going to be occupied within 7 cards in the deck. There are only 7 cards with this symbol, and this hand contains 2 of them. Okay? So that's, let's just talk about statistics. That's a 1 in 7 chance. No, that's a 7. There's 7 of these. So there's 7 and then there's 6 to pull from in a 78 card deck, whatever those chances are. And then the deal with the upside down algaes is it is an indication that it connects to all of the black suits. So it connects to both wands and swords, but it does not connect to cups or coins. Those are red. These are black. Even though that's white, just ignore that. It's because the black just didn't look nice, and looking nice is more important to me than consistency. And things looking nice are my primary motivation in all of this. Anything, I can't stand it looking ugly, so I will break the rules before I let something be ugly. Anyways, it connects to both the wands and the swords, and it's a pair of cards because there is the potential for a card to do that in this game, but only like 10 or 11 times. So yeah, anyways, God, what am I even doing? Yeah, those connect. So yeah, I actually have the example right here. This is the Emperor, right? The Emperor is a court card. It is the 4th court card. Not court, Major Arcana. That is the traditional nomenclature. Major Arcana. So he is the 4th one, and Temperance is the 14th. So the Emperors, since it is in the first 10, the only possible way for the game to be mathematically fair and balanced is for one of them to count as a pair and for the other one not to. So the first 10 do not count for a pair, and the upper deck does count for a pair. This is the World, this is Temperance. So Temperance and the Emperor connect. This is a pair of queens, and that symbol is an indication of their strength. That is their rank. That is their, or that's their suit, that's their rank, right? Name, rank, suit, anyways. This symbol, the circle with the line, is an indicator that it connects to both cups and coins. This counts for both reds. So, yeah. What am I really saying right now? What am I really saying? What am I really doing? The Knight of Swords. Is a card about when it's important to take decisive action, overcome obstacles, and achieve goals. The Knight of Swords can represent a time when it's important to embrace challenges with courage and confidence. Young men are represented in this card. Confidence, articulation, visionary, impulsivity, foolishness. A warning, it's not, well, no, not in this case. Well, maybe. Clever liars, secrets, deceitful confidence, trickster. Sure. Knight of Swords may also refer to the first book in a 3-volume saga by Michael Moorcock. That's a funny, there's no way that's real. That's not his real name. He did that on purpose. That's awesome, okay? The saga is about, Michael Moorcock is the deceitful trickster. The saga is about Prince Coram and the sword. Wait, when was it written? When was it written? When was Prince Coram written? Prince Coram. 1977. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, oh, those are done. Before I can continue, I need to add a video. But I already added the videos. Clearly I don't know how to do this the right way. Next video. That doesn't work. Yeah, that does not work. Maybe I should just upload them to YouTube. And not, yeah, I could just not be an asshole. That works, yeah. What would Prince Coram do? Fine. If you're not going to allow me to upload them privately and behind a paywall to encourage financial support of my channel, I will instead upload them to YouTube and appeal to it's my YouTube channel, by the way. Why it's complicated, 912. Yep. That's real fine. And this is what I watch. I watch the Kill Pete Strategy. I watch Dr. Rachel Barr, who is awesome. Typo. Kendrick Lamar, music that I've never listened to and probably will never listen to. Pirate Software is live. I wonder what he's doing. Poker Stars is live. Let's see what Poker Stars is up to. Or does that not mean live? Live now? That's poker tournaments. You know what? Let's do some poker. Let's watch some poker. Yeah. Cool, I can hear stuff. No thanks. Wow. $25,600. Wonder if he got his money back. Probably not. He looks utterly dejected. Alright. Let's talk about what I would do with each hand. Whoa. 8 C-checks. Interesting. Wait, did we miss part of the hand? This is not interesting to me. Okay, why am I even doing this? Holy shit. Oh. Okay, my videos. 25 minutes into this. Why am I even filming myself uploading a YouTube video? Could I save it, maybe? Is this as meta as a channel can become? I don't know. How meta is this? Okay. Alright, what am I doing right now? What am I doing? What am I doing? What's important? What is important right now? I suppose it's important for you to see this. This is the poker document. It is 2,288,554 lines of code. And it calculates hand strength. And yeah, it's functional. This is the first thing I did. This is what I took 2 years doing. And then all of the rest is what I came up with in the last month. So that's 2 years and then 30 days. And then I'm hoping to be successful by the end of the year. As in, like, not broke and happy and shit, you know what I mean? Like, validated. I could use some validation, bro. Could use some of that. So, yeah, let's just continue forward, right? Continue moving forward. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's reconfigure the game, and rather than even ever expect it to ever be something anyone else ever touches, just make it as functional for myself as I possibly can. Right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Okay. So, let's make the program mine. And I can make the program mine by adding this like right effing there. Right? That works? I believe that works. And if it doesn't, I will find out pretty quickly. So far, so good. But it doesn't work. So, Control Z that. And if you didn't know, Control Z is undo. So, feel free to use that as a convenience. How about here, at the very bottom? And I will save it too. And let's see if that worked. And now it works. So, we can tap and highlight squares, baby. Hey, hey, hey. Look at what I can do. So this means that I can now introduce everything, because that's a vital tool in order to do so. Yeah. Let's make some pixel art while we're having fun with this. Right? And then there's also, I need the undo. Why is that not already there? Why is the undo not already there? Whatever. I am not going to go through the trouble of making it possible to unclick it right now. I can. I have it. I just don't want to. I don't want to right now. It's enough. I'm doing enough. So we can just refresh whenever we want a clean slate, like one of those shaky things, whatever you call those. Sounds like she's winning. Okay, yeah. Anyways, we have that tool. New tool acquired. Create. Upload. Stop feeling insecure and start feeling like you belong. Double your confidence. Boom, boom. Foundational secrets to life. Okay? I want to upload that, I think. Uploading things that no one will see. Uploading things that no one will see. What should the thumbnail be? Ooh. One of these? Yeah, I could do one of these. Maybe this one? How's that look? Nope, that's not it. Undo. Don't worry about it. Is this video made for kids? I do that just... I swear, I know I do. I don't care. It is what it is. This isn't for kids. This is not for kids. If you introduce your kids to this, that's on you. It's a curse. It's a fucking curse. Don't curse kids. Okay? No, don't. Don't do it. Don't show your kids this. Don't show your kids this game, please. Please, please. Don't do it. It's so much. Okay, next. Okay. Checking for copyright. Is it even fully uploaded? Public, duh. Okay. Okay. Yep. I just spent 10 minutes on that. And recorded it. Yep. That's what I did. And then I'm gonna upload it. Somewhere. Let's... minutes, okay. So that is no longer going to be private. And that's fine. I don't care. let's get back on track. So, I think what I wanted to do at the beginning of this video was to talk about armor. So, each of our new pieces has a class attribute, and I said in either this video or an earlier video that I don't change the traditional chess pieces at all. That's in terms of movement. That's in terms of visual, like they are the same looking. They hold about the same influence in the game, right? But I do change one thing, which is I give each of them a unique ability. And the reason that the queen is linked with these 5 pieces, and this is actually what makes that, so another concept I was talking about earlier, let's revisit it, is the concept of how currency will be handled. And I am leaning more and more and more towards storing it inside the queen. And I think that's the one I'm final decisions, right? The Knight of Swords. Excess currency goes to the queen. And the reason that is significant in terms of discussing armor is each of these pieces, each of these 5 pieces, are born with the class attribute of armor. So, Yara's sphere of influence, right here. Let's say you're starting the game, right? Armor is what I call a preliminary, a preliminary move, okay? And that might make more sense later, but it is something that you can make use of at any time, right? So what the armor's special ability is if I were to move it into a piece that I actively control, right? So normally you can't enter this square because there's a white pawn there, right? But the power that the jacket and the boot and the hat and all them have is if you move them into your own piece, their stack will be added on top of theirs, right? So it is a preliminary, it's sort of like saying, I am going to use this piece to attack, right? This is an identifier of strength in a single piece, right? Or an addition of strength to a single piece. And it starts with access to the rook. So logically you will either be giving it to one of these, maybe a pawn, who knows? Who knows what kind of strategies people are going to come up with. But yeah, they hold a preliminary role. And that is interesting in terms of the queen, because if the queen holds both the role of armorer and wealth accumulator, then she holds an extreme power in the sway of any fight. Which actually makes me want to, yeah, so at any time she could, so perhaps that would mean the best strategy in the game and the day 1 meta of the game would be the queen immediately attaching herself to the king, so that any wealth gained throughout the game is added to your king's stack, and therefore making your king harder to kill. At least that will be my strategy. So, yeah, that is the role of armorer. They can add themselves to any of your pieces to add their stack on top of the other ones. Yes, that is the first class of cards in depth in its entirety. So let's hit the second class. Second class of cards holds the class attribute I call Savior Complex. So the cards included here are this envelope, represents a card I call the Envoy. He is the red. This is the tailor, who is blue. This is the nurse, who is black. And this is the artist, which is purple. The purple is represented by white in this case, because that's what's convenient for me. And the bishop are the 5 cards that fall under the Savior Complex, and also occupy the second square next to the first class, right? So just in case you still need a visual, not there, here, it represents this square, okay? Okay, second class. So what should I really talk about? I guess I can talk about their Savior Complex as well. So what these cards can do is different from the Armorer. If the Armorer is a preemptive, so let's go back. So let's, in addition to being foundational, add timing, preemptive. Okay, that is a preemptive piece. You plan ahead when you are using. Well, optimally, you plan ahead for everything, but yeah, that's a preemptive move. You are doing it before anything really happens. Whereas the second class of cards timing is reactive. Okay? So, what a card involved in the Savior Complex will do is they also can give their stack to another card or another piece on the board, but they can only give their stack to a piece that is in combat. So if we are talking, let's say this pawn is engaged in combat with this pawn here, okay? That square will be occupied by a pawn of whichever side is winning, right? So if black has more chips, then the black pawn will dominate the square. If the white player has more chips, their player or their coin will dominate the square. That will just be a visual indicator of power distribution throughout the board, and it will be represented by a red border. Now, these battle zones for any other card in the deck are inaccessible. They might as well be a piece of your own color, right? That is not an accessible square during combat unless the piece has a savior complex, in which case they can engage combat and give their stack to the piece which is currently in combat, right? So that's their role, is support. They are represented by the envoy, the tailor, the nurse, the artist, and the bishop. These are each of their respective currencies, and a lot of times currency will overlap with things like movement patterns, right? So, for instance, the nurse has this as her symbol for the unique currency she carries, and as you can see here, this is her movement pattern, which is an exact mirror of her rune. Now, that is not always the case. That is not always the case. But in many cases, it is. Just one of those like subtle tools to try and make things more intuitive. Right. So the nurse is that one, and all of not that one. No, not that one. I have some confusion between this card and or that coin and that coin. So that's going to be an inconsistency, not in game logic. Like, the game still functions fine, but the problem I have between these two symbols is this card moves as an X, and this card moves as the Kinas, right? The movement for those two is flipped. And, yeah, anyways, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I have not even programmed that movement yet. That is not even possible yet to do in game. Why am I talking about a game I haven't finished programming? Why? Why am I not done? Why is it not over yet? Okay. So yeah, the nurse needs 120,000 of these to equal one king token. And that is the measurements we're doing here. So you need 30,000 of these to equal one king token. So that's the number you walk into battle with, is 30,000. And if you are successful in launching the attack, you walk in with 60,000. And if you are too slow in the worst way, which is close, then you walk into battle with half of the opponent's stack. And yeah, yeah, you better plan ahead. And I also do plan on if you are like I also want to include a retreat option, right? So I want it to be possible, like, let's say you're and this is all stuff I'm gonna have to code later, but I'm just gonna discuss it because fuck it. I'm just gonna start sharing it. I'm just gonna start doing it. I'm just gonna start doing the thing. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? What am I looking for? I am looking for... I was on the track of the coin value. Doesn't matter. Yeah, doesn't matter. Moving on. Okay, let's add the next layer of context. universe holds this type of currency and is symbolically related to wands, the suit. And if wands is the second suit in the hierarchy, right? If wands is to cups, as torches is to ropes, as trees are to chains, as roses are to keys, is the name of that one. These are related to one another in the same fashion. Torches is the opposite of wands, or lies on the barrier between. Whatever. They're different, yang and yin, right? And if you bring them together, you get trees. And then if you add all them together, you get this one. And then I discovered, when I started making this presentation like yesterday, I realized that the bishop needed his own currency as well. So I added all of them together to get his. And I don't know, that I suppose is the basis for a 5th deck, but I am not doing that right now. That's not what I'm doing right now. I get to introduce you to Class 3 right now. And let's do it in the next 9 minutes. Let's be really quick about it, because that's the whole point about Class 3. The 3rd class is represented by the vampire in blue, the bull in red, the eye in purple, the axe in black, and the traditional horsey. Next slide. These are their values, you know. You need 240 of these to make a king, 1200 of these, 120 of these, 300 of these. Isn't that fun? Like 300 axes make a king? I just love little stuff. 120 eyes do. They're more valuable, right? Yeah. 1200 bulls, 240 vampires, 60 knights. All add up to a king. Class attribute is Killer Instinct. You know what that means? Killer Instinct means Killer Instinct means let's say you're playing with the bull, okay? This is the bull's pattern. It skips 1 and lands, skips 1 and lands. It can do that in any direction. So if it's here, it can go boom, 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 boom. Okay? That is the bull's sphere of influence, those 8 squares. It will only ever have access to those 8 squares. So let's say the bull is going to be going to this square, and this black pawn occupies that square, okay? We enter our cribbage game, and the pieces play their game. That was how many squares? How many squares was there in that equation? Well, skip 1, 2, lands on 1, and then another 1, 2, so 4. We are moving 4 squares, so that'll be 88 pegs, okay? 88. That's the number of points you need to get there. Oh, and we might as well talk about how you can get points. If any of the cards you have in your hand add up to the number 25, and all face cards count for 10, and aces count for 1, if it adds up to 25, you get 2 points. All pairs count for 2 points. So a pair of 3s and 2s and stuff like that, each of those will count for 2. And ideally, I would love it. I would really, 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 really like it if straights could give you points. If 5 in a row gave you a straight and that gave you 5 points, that would be great. I haven't coded that, and I am terrified to, because it is so complicated. And I don't want to explain why it's so complicated right now, but it gives me a goddamn headache, and I haven't been able to do it right. It's always broken. So um, I'm not approaching it right now. Right now, it's just 25s and pairs, and you can still pretty easily knock out 88 points in one hand. Like, just as an example, don't ask me how, but this is going to be worth a lot of points. If I toss this, no. If I toss this, yeah, I suppose I have to throw one. Yep, so, actually, let's just do the math in our head. Although I do have a program to count it, I don't even know how to access the console on this. I would have to open up a new tab. So let's just do the math. There's 2 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that, that's a straight. So, you see, that's why you want to have it in the game, right? That's precisely why you want to have it in the game. Is when sometimes you're going to get it, and if it's not there, it's going to feel super wrong. But fucking A, it's daunting. Yeah, we also have another 3 right there, so 3's connect to each other right here. 3, 3, and 2 makes 5, so 3 times 5, 15, boom, boom, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 3s. I mean, yeah, it's just got to be ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. My point is, especially, and notice this is a fuck ton of points. This is a fuck ton of points, and it's not even. Notice there's no major arcana. There's none of this shit is even going on. Like, think about the power of this hand, right? Think about if there's an ace in this hand. You know, it really becomes exponentially large. The points I've seen 162 legitimate points. Let me show you. I can prove it. And I was dealt this hand the same way I've been dealing those is how I was dealt this. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Don't ask. Where is it? Where would that be? That would be here probably. And where would my 162 point hand be? My 162 point hand could be here. No, it's not that. But I opened it, so let's see what it is. This is probably. I don't know what this is. I don't know why I screen capped this. When did I screen cap this? The 8th? 9 days after I discovered chess. Maybe this is just a tarot reading. Yeah, maybe I saved it because it's, well, how many cards is this? This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a 9, 12, plus 6, 18, times 2, 36 card tarot reading. I mean, that's the other thing, is when you bake symbolic meaning into every single card, and then you produce this amount of it at this rate, I do believe like this is the next level. So if you take cribbage as the basic physical movement of the pieces, You take combat as the, so I don't even care that it's at an hour. I'm just gonna keep going. Expression, physical. So let's add to this and say, or no, copy it, delete it. This is something I forgot to add. The second class is intellectual. So the second class is it's reactive, right? Intelligence is a reactive quality, and it's your words, right? So this is this class is anything that's done in a second class nature is going to be expressed through speech, through body language, maybe, or even you could say this first class could be expressed through body language as it's physical. You know, I mean, a pawn moving could be as simple as moving your arm. You know, placing your arm on someone's shoulder could be expressed as a pawn moving 2 squares forward. And baking that sort of narrative quality into the game is something that I think only AI is capable of doing. I think that once the game rules are defined, once the symbols are clearly defined, once we have 256 unique major arcanas and a balance of power between them, and a substantial enough user base, and a real clear like gameplay formula, I think once that's achieved, then it's going to be on AI to make it narrative and give it a lifelike quality. But that's all got to be baked into the system beforehand, right? Like, yeah, this is a lot like baking. It's a lot like baking. So, yeah, I don't cook, I bake. Class attribute, killer instincts. Okay, yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the third class's killer instincts. Let's talk about how it is, as long as we are on this tract, I know I used a different word for it, but expression, if class 1 is physical and class 2 is intellectual, and the third class is emotional, and that is the means by which it is expressed, and its class attribute is the killer instinct. And as I discussed, it's represented by these 5 pieces in the second to furthest position. So it'll be on B1 or O1 will be their initial coordinates, unless it's the knight, in which case it will be wherever the knight's square is. That's on you to figure that out. Okay, the vampire, this is the number of them that it takes to make 1 king. This is what their unique currencies look like, and their class attribute is killer instinct. Oh, and this is their respective suits. So you have coins in red, you have windows in blue, you have pillows in purple, and you have paper in black. Okay? And I'm sorry for saying so much. I haven't been training not to do that for a long time. So just be patient with me. I am looking to to explain Killer Instinct to you. So, let's explain Killer Instinct. Let's say you're using the bull or the knight to attack a piece. Let's say it is 2 squares away, and you beat your opponent, or actually let's do the other 2 first, right? So let's say your opponent beats you, and you are in the red, right? So you're going 1, 2 squares. It's just going to be 1 loop around the board, and you are still in red square territory when your opponent finishes the race. You will land on this red square here, right? So if it's 2 squares, you are landing 1 square away. Got it? If you don't even make it to the red square, if you are still within these first 11 pegs when your opponent finishes, then you are not moving. And it's possible for that to happen at any distance. Which I think is hilarious. I think it's hilarious if you plan like a 12 move turn and don't move, or move like 2. I love that. It's just spectacular to me. Shouldn't be smoking on video, but this isn't for kids. It's gonna be one of my slogans. What am I looking for? Okay. That's better. Okay. So, let's say you are moving 2 squares into an assault on your opponent, and your opponent beats you there while you are inside of that square. You will enter combat, and you will have your number of coins, and they will have double that amount in value of coins, just the same as any other time you were in that situation. But if you beat your opponent, it doesn't matter what distance you beat them at. It doesn't matter if they're 1 peg away. You don't walk into combat with more coins. You just automatically win the fight. You just win. No poker. You just win. You just take that piece. That's Killer Instinct. I love Killer Instinct. Yeah. There you go. That's that one. That brings us to the 4th class, which is the Rook class, and the furthest on the board. Their class attribute is Mover. That's represented by the teleporter, the missile, the tank, the bullet, and the rook. Their suits are in the 4th level: gears, pens, scissors, and swords. Black, red, blue, and purple. This is the rook is going to hold the green one, and it's the only piece in the game of equal value to the king. Which also means it will always be going all in. And then you have the pawn, which is of equal value to the hat. Okay. And yeah, so what's significant about these, their class attribute of mover, is the same way a killer doesn't have to win poker, they do not have to win cribbage. They just automatically go wherever you tell them to. So if they have a piece in their sights, they will always be entering with a advantage. And that is the game. No typo.